Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to our review of the movie Barbie. This is the uh, just released this past weekend, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it. I will be your host for this review, but I'm joined by my good friend Malcolm here. He decided to jump on with me, so I think it's going to be a fun time. How's it going, Malcolm?
It's going good. I'm almost pretty sure we're going to be on the opposite end of the scale for this. So, yeah.
That's fine. I was on a review, so I meant to do this review actually yesterday, but actually, technically, I was going to do it over the weekend, and I just ran out of time because I had trivia, and then I ended up of jumping on a stream with Wolfman and doing a review over there, and that got pretty chaotic and went way too long. So and now I'm doing it today, which it's a happy coincidence because I can get you on here and talk about the movie. So yeah, we might be on opposite ends, but that's totally fine. That's the beauty of cinema, that all movies are subjective. So I mean everyone can have their own opinions, but yeah. So I was just gonna just give a few facts about it. So it was released on July 21st, 2023. So just a few days ago, and the runtime is an hour and 54 minutes, so just under 2 hours. It's directed by Greta Gerwig, who, if you know Greta Gerwig, she also directed Lady Bird and the 2019 Little Women movie, which both of those were actually pleasant surprises. I actually like both those movies, so I was kind of looking forward to it, and the movie actually made a decent amount of money at the box office. I mean, $155 million opening weekend, and yeah, like it totally makes sense because both Barbie and Oppenheimer, which we're gonna do a review next, are like kind of like in a lot of ways kind of saving cinemas, keeping cinemas going because they're making money for the cinemas and in the studios. And then I was going to bring up, uh, it's pretty highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 90% from the critics, 87% from the fans. One of the things I like to kind of call shenanigans on that a little bit, because if you go onto Rotten Tomatoes, it has the verified audience, but then if you click on it, there's a little thing that says all audience. You go to that, and it's only 75. And if you go to the verified audience, a lot of the reviews seem a little weird to me. They're like these one sentence reviews. It look like there's someone who doesn't speak proper English, or they just like maybe some kind of bot or some kind of weird thing. So like I'm a little skeptical on it, but like who knows? It's hard to really say. I can't really say one way or the or the other. But yeah, we'll jump into it. So I guess Malcolm is the guest on here. What do you think of the movie? Did you like it? Or did you not like it? What were your kind of general thoughts on Barbie?
Yeah, I mean, going in, I was like, this is a movie that clearly wasn't made for us, but but
Right.
going into this, I was actually more hyped to this over Oppenheimer, which is weird, but the trailer
Most
hooked me,
kind of
and
was too.
but the trailer hooked me, and it just a lot of fun. And it's one of those ones, like, especially as the weekend proved, both Barbie and Oppenheimer proved, you don't need $300 million to make budget, because they both pretty much made almost their budget back in one weekend.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so I surprisingly really loved this. It's currently my number one movie of the year so far. So
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. When I was on with Wolfman last night, he had his friend Andrew on, and like he loved it also. Like it was his number one favorite movie of the year, so he was really high on it. So I know that the movie might be a little divisive for something, because I wanted to go see it. I did it. I saw three movies in one day. So I started out with Elemental, then I saw Barbie second, and then I went to Oppenheimer. And the uh, and when I was about to go into Barbie, I got a text from Austin. And he's like, "I hope you're ready for like a bullshit a feminist. Like the whole second half is all feminist stuff." And I'm kind of like, "What? Like Well, I haven't seen it yet. Maybe that's just all could be satire, could be just playing to the Barbie tropes. I don't know. I kind of played it off. I mean, I did definitely see a lot of that, but but that doesn't mean that I completely hated it. There were a lot of things that I liked about it. Mostly Ryan Gosling. I thought he was hilarious in it, and there's a lot of fun to be had. But and then also too, when I was waiting to go in, I know my Regal Theater that I went to that they had they had a little thing set up where people could come take pictures. There was like a little box thing for Barbie. We can come and like pose in the little box and pretend like you're in like a little package. And so like probably like a good like 75% of like everyone coming to the movie, they were dressed up as Barbie and Ken. So that was kind of fun. So yeah. But they did that, and then the theater that I saw it in, it was about half full. So like pretty full. A lot fuller than the movies I've been seeing recently. Like, how about your theater? Was it very full or?
Yeah, it's when I went to see Barbie, it was a really packed theater. Like,
Nice.
yeah, the time I went to it, it would have been in one of the earliest sessions too, like in the mornings, like like to be packed in the morning, like as a morning session, it's not usually like that.
Yeah, right. And at your theater, do you get very many people dressing up? Did you see a lot of that? A lot of pink and stuff?
Um, but like when it, with us when the movies come out the day before, there's always a special like preview sessions for
Oh
and
yeah,
that where people do dress up. Like there wasn't a lot of people sort of dressing up for the one I went to. I wish they had like a box of that set up to take
yeah.
photos in front of.
Well, I even heard so like for us, they had the pink carpet rolled out, and so they had that. And they had the like box. And they had a like thing of like pink balloons you could pose in front of. I've even heard some cinemas even had like Barbie's a dream car out front because there's a friend of mine that said she saw that the Barbie dream car being towed away at the end of the day, so that they would tow it away at the end of every night and then bring it back so people could actually pose in Barbie's dream car, which is pretty cool. But we didn't quite have that because I'm in Idaho in a pretty small town, but we at least got the box where they pose, so that was fun.
Yeah. But the one thing I'll say about the feminism and stuff that you did mention,
Yeah.
I look, I know I've seen people online saying it was like bashing her over the head. I don't think it was that like thing. I think it's just one of those ones because I think it was more playing up to the whole reason why Barbie was created because like the Barbie exists because it was created as a feminist type thing because like so I think you had all these like G.I. Joes and stuff. Actually, I don't know if they were around when Barbie was around, but I think it was created so that the girls sort of had a toy that they could relate to and all that. So I think that's what the whole thing was playing up to with the whole feminist in here. And I think if the storyline was that they weren't going into the real world, they probably wouldn't play on that too much. But I think because they were going to the real world, like to show that balance between what Barbie's world is like and the real world, I think the whole feminist thing worked for that plot of that movie.
Well, like the one thing that I say about that is that it does kind of make sense slightly because most little girls. So my younger sister had some Barbies. I had a couple cousins that did, and when they're playing with it, usually Ken's always like a secondary toy, and all the girls will play with the Barbies, and then the Kens kind of get pushed to the side, and they're just kind of shown. That's how it was when the girls played with it. So I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So they kind of do it in the movie, but I will say before I get into it too much, because I can talk about it a little later, there were some parts where I do think that the feminism was like pretty over the head, and like when I first started seeing it, I'm like, well, they're just doing it because that's the way that the toys were. But then, and like later on, especially with like America Ferrera's character when she gets into Barbie Land, I'm kind of like, whoa, this is like almost like they're pushing an agenda, is what it felt like to me. So I'm kind of like, whoa, that's kind of weird. But before I get into that, I did want to talk about some of the pros though. I really like. Uh, so hands down, my favorite part of the movie was Ryan Gosling's character. Like he was so funny and like had really good comedic timing. Just all the different little things like when he pops up in the back of Barbie's car and she's like, "Did you bring your rollerblades?" He's like, "Yes." I literally go nowhere without them, and he has them there, and then or like when Ken comes back to kind of take over and becomes like the like Kendom or whatever they call it, they uh yeah, you have Ken's Mojo Doja Casa House. He's like, do you have to say it twice? He's like, yeah, you have to say it twice because it sounds cooler that way. And you have him walking around with the fur coat and the headband and all that stuff. And then the whole like beat you off thing, like they had like they talk about how like Ken knows how to do beach, but he doesn't really lifeguard, he doesn't swim, and like literally at the end of the movie that like I think it might have been even in the credits that they showed um like Ken's uh actual box, and it said uh like he does beach or something like that. So like it was actually on the box. And also, too, before we get too far, I should have said this up top. We are going to get into some spoilers for this, and so we'll kind of let you know once the real spoilery stuff kind of happens. So yeah, but yeah, like I really like that, and then I actually even enjoyed Kate McKinnon as like the weird Barbie because I like normally Kate McKinnon just annoys the hell out of me and like everything that she did. I'm not a big Kate McKinnon fan, but in this it actually worked because I felt like everyone had that like weird Barbie, like my sister had it, and like me and my sister we're pretty far apart in age. I believe I can't remember the exact amount, but I think we're at least like 13 years up apart because I'm the oldest and of five kids and she's the youngest. But like I know that some of my other brothers would like steal her dolls and like cut the hair off and scribble all over them and all that. So I thought that was pretty funny how they actually had the weird Barbie in their own little house, kind of separated from everything. And then also too, I like how they really had like a real colorful world, kind of upbeat, kind of cool. And they did all the little things Barbie actually does. She wakes up in the morning, she showers and like no water comes out, and then she has the cup of coffee, but then there's no liquid in it, and then the like the waffle on a plate comes out all perfect. So that was cool. But what were your pros about the movie? Like, what were some things you really loved about it? Like, do you have any moments or like things you really liked about it?
I mean, it's for me. It's like it's all like there's really not a lot of negative I've got actually got about this movie,
Yeah, yeah,
but
that's good.
like it's one of those ones that I know can't remember which show it was, but I know Austin like was questioning like the whole like 145 budget for Barbie, but it's like you could tell, like watching the movie, you could tell exactly where it went because that whole set itself was extravagant for Barbie Land, especially.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's like, and it's one of those ones like they cause a national pink shortage.
Yeah, like
um,
which is crazy. Yeah, for like paint, for pink paint. Yeah.
but but yeah, it's one of those ones like I especially loved like I thought all the actors were great in it. Like I'm not that big on Will Ferrell, but I really enjoyed his character.
Yeah. Nice.
Which there is this theory going around that his character as the Mattel boss is just his character from the Lego movie.
Yeah.
And the theory was like,
Should
oh
be
yeah,
awesome.
we're gonna get a big crossover now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
um,
I wouldn't mind
which
that actually.
yeah, no, it's one of those ones like I don't. I have to look this up, but because I'm pretty sure Lego Movie is Warner Brothers. So I think it is
Yeah, it
possible for
is.
that. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if they wanted to, they could play into that whole connected universe and have like Will Ferrell as this sort of anchor and this
Yeah,
um
right. That could actually work.
um but yeah and I mean, I really love the music in this. Like,
Oh
Ryan
yeah, the music's
Gosling's
good.
kid, yeah, Ryan Gosling's song "Just Kid" is just a big stand. Especially like I think it was about a big 10-minute like musical sequence in that
Yeah,
movie. Um, I got I bought the album today. It's like the song itself is like about 3 minutes. It was like the whole sequence. It's definitely a lot longer sequence in the movie, but
yeah.
um, so I that's one of those ones like I can see at least potentially two songs from this being nominated for at the Oscars. Like the Just Ken song, I could probably see being there, and then maybe the Billie Eilish song or the Lizzo song, which opened up the thing. I think either one of them could sneak in. I
Yeah.
think it's going to depend on how much other songs are out there from other movies.
Well, it'd be a lot of fun to see it performed at the Oscars. See that whole musical number. That'd be awesome. So I'd be totally down for that.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely one of those ones because there's definitely potential you could have two instead of actually famous singers. It's you're going to have at least two. You could have two actors singing songs. You've got Jack Black's and Peaches, and then you've got Ryan Gosling and
Right.
But
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because like for me too, like that musical number, like I actually love the choreography from it. I actually thought that like it's the best choreography I've ever seen from Ryan Gosling, and he was in La La Land. And like as far as like the actual choreography goes, like I'm just talking about like that
yeah,
alone. I just loved it. Yeah, I thought it was great.
yeah, and but yeah, and I really wish I'd watched it again before this. But
No,
it,
it's all good.
yeah, and it's one of those ones like um and yeah, the whole real world stuff, just seeing sort of Barbie sort of interacting with the real world, and um, I really enjoyed that just small moment of Barbie sitting on that bench beside the old lady,
Oh yeah.
as I found out later was actually the costume designer of the movie
Oh cool.
that
Yeah.
they got in as a cameo.
She's like, "You're really
Um,
pretty," or like whatever she says to her. Yeah, yeah. And I
yeah,
was like, "Oh, like for an old lady, yeah, that's actually like a sweet
yeah,
moment right there."
and um, and Real Perman looks really good for her age. She popped in like
Oh,
as Ruth Handler near the end. It's like that spirit.
yeah, right, yeah. She was great, and like one of the things I want to bring up, and like I don't know if you be able to follow me, but one thing that I kind of noticed, do you notice all the Matrix parallels in this? Like it just reminded me of that movie. You had the whole like red pill, blue pill, where she has to like pick the flip flops or like pick the high heels, and then you have Rhea Perlman, like essentially being the Oracle, and then you have
Yeah.
like the real world versus the Barbie world. Then you have all the suits from like Will Ferrell being like the Agent Smiths and all that. I thought there was a lot of parallels to that. So like I don't know if that was intentional or like if just a coincidence or what, but like I
Oh,
just kind of
I
noticed
mean,
all that.
for it to be that very referential into the Matrix, it's definitely on purpose.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
because I was there's this video that's on the Letterbox YouTube channel where Greta Gerwig talks about all her influences in the movie. She does mean I haven't watched it all, but I believe like she has said that the Matrix is a big reference for this. Wizard of Oz
Oh,
is
nice.
another one. Wizard of Oz is another one
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
that was when you think about it as well, because instead of going from the sort of Barbie fictional world, um, it gets really muted when you go into the real world.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's one of those ones like instead of the yellow brick road, it's the pink road that they drive along too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and like there's a few movies you can compare it to. You can compare it to the movie Elf too, where he has to like when she didn't like travels out of the world, she has to go on like a double bike and then a boat and like a spaceship and like through all these
yes.
different things. And so kind of like the journey that like Will Ferrell has in Elf, kind of getting to New York or something. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just like the fact that apparently Will Ferrell has rollerblades handy too, just to get back.
yeah, right. Yeah, they all have that. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, there's one other thing that I was gonna bring out. I'm just looking at my notes or that I made, but yeah, like I mean, those are the main things that I really liked about the movie. But like so like I just wanted to get into a few of my cons just because like I do definitely have them and like why I don't love this movie that much. Those are the things that I like. So there are things to like about it, but the thing is when I get into cons, I got to bring up the feminism stuff because like I just think that's kind of like they make it so they showcase that like men can't have jobs. They just sit around on the beach. They don't do anything. They can't be doctors. They can't be in the Supreme Court. They can't have jobs. They don't do anything. But like you have to remember that's how the actual dolls were. They didn't really give them
Yeah.
jobs. But like still like I'm just kind of like really. And then like I thought that they overused Will Ferrell in this. Like it would have been fun to just have like a one scene where they go into the boardroom and they have a scene with them. But like I thought that the whole entire thing is they didn't want Barbie in the real world, so they're like going after Barbie. But like, why did they even come to Barbie Land? I don't really understand that. Like they come to Barbie Land to do what? Because Barbie's already back in Barbie Land, so shouldn't that kind of fix a lot of things? But it doesn't. And then they're in the Barbie Land. I don't really even know why they're even there. It's kind of like what's the purpose of this? Like I don't really know. So like that was one. And then let's see. Also, um, oh, and then to like play into the feminist stuff, I don't really understand why they even brought America Ferrera's character and the daughter there. Like, I don't know what the purpose was. It might have been to just kind of show that the daughter that they're like Barbie's still cool, Barbie's still relevant. Like that like come see our world and come see how amazing that it is, but then the mom came along because the mom goes with the daughter kind of thing. I kind of think that, but like I don't really understand the whole thing about that, but like one of the things though that I did want to do it so like my main thing that I didn't like is like once they got back to the Barbie land and it's overrun by all the Kens and everything, the only way to snap out all the different Barbies is that they have to say some kind of feminism stuff and like say it to their face and make them realize all this stuff that like women are like so important and like men aren't or like whatever they're saying and then it like snaps them out and I actually have the whole the speech because people are actually praising this speech online and I understand like it's a different world that we live in now and so like it's like one where like people really push for equality a lot more than when Barbie first came out and first became a doll when the world was at a whole different like viewpoint. But like what she says, like I'm just gonna read some of it. But like she says, "It is literally impossible to be a woman. You're so beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like we have to always be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. You have to be thin, but not too thin. You can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but you also have to be thin. You have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women because you're supposed to be part of the sisterhood. But always stand out and always be grateful, but never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also be grateful. You have to never get rid or no, never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. And like it just goes on and like I'm just kind of like just rolling my eyes. I'm like, what are we doing here? Just saying that like men like women are just oppressed and they have to bow down to like men and have to like bend to their every will and like men are just these like tyrants ruling over them with an iron fist and that's not really how it is. Like it's just not that's just not really true. I mean some women may feel that way but I mean like I just don't really think that that's reality. And then also too when you have Ken going on under the real world, he just looks around, he goes in like an office building, he he's like looking at like men doing some things, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, he's like, man, like men just rule the world. They do everything, and like, isn't this awesome that like men can just have so much power? But he doesn't really see men doing anything except for like being in an office building or like he sees a couple of men doing construction or something like that, and it's like that's not really men ruling the world. That's just men living their life and going to work. Like I don't know. Like it just seems like a little on the nose. Like to me that I just kind of like really like the especially that speech in particular and the way they have to snap the Barbies out. I'm like this feels like they're pushing an agenda to me. Like it just does. I mean, I don't know. Some people were like happy that they had that speech and they went that way because it's like giving women, like empowering women. But I don't even know if that empowers women, because they actually show that when they get back with the men taking over, and they show like what it's like with them, like men ruling the world, and then you have Barbie trying to do all of her stuff, and like she spills the liquid on her from her cup, and then she goes to get a waffle, and it's burnt to a crisp, and then splat the like whipped cream goes all over, which was funny, and I liked it, but at the same time, it's kind of like I don't know, it just does not seem like the way it really is, and they're really kind of pushing it as like this is how the world is, and it's like, well, no, not really. So that's just kind of like what I got out of that part. So that part kind of turned me off to the point where I'm just like, it's hard to like really like love this movie. I mean, I can like certain parts, I can see the good, but I don't know. That's just my thought. I don't know if you even like saw, like, noticed any of that, Malcolm, or if you didn't really think that.
Well, once again, this like, it to me it ties back to what I said earlier about like the reason Barbie was created, and it's one of those ones that I think it's. I don't think it's pushing an agenda. I think it's just kind of commenting on the fact that is how some women see the world a lot of the times. Because like a lot of times, like some of my friends have like experienced this where it could be her and a guy up for a job. 9 times out of 10, it's always going to be the guy that gets the job.
Right.
So I think it's one of those ones like. And it's one of those ones because I really did like American First speech.
Yeah,
because
right.
it's one of those ones like it does highlight a lot of the things that like women do feel like a lot of the time, and I think it's just one of those ones that because of the fact that is why Barbie was created in the first place, it makes sense that a speech about like women empowerment and stuff like about what society thinks women are supposed to do is what ultimately breaks them out of this kind of hypnosis and stuff that Ken's put into them.
Right.
And it's one of those like, well, yeah, I did like Will Ferrell in the movie. I also do like what it does tie into like for me, my negatives are probably a more small nitpicks than anything. But like I do also think it's weird that he went to the world, but I think it's one of those cases like because I think the reports like he found out that Ken had already sort of destroyed the real world by yeah, so I think Will Ferrell, for whatever reason, what needed to go back and just to see if it can be fixed, and
Yeah, to restore order. Yeah.
yeah, but it's one of those ones like the whole reason. But to touch on to your thing about America Ferrer's character going to Barbie in the first place, it's more the thing like that's the whole reason that Margot Robbie's Barbie had some malfunctioning is because I just need to try and think of my words here, but I think it's just one of those ones like she was trying to convince the mum that she was still cool. I think it's just one of those ones like because they don't get played with a lot. I think that's once again I have to rewatch this to gather my thoughts
Sure. Yeah.
more, but But I think that's what the gist of it was. That was the whole point of Barbie going to the real world in the first place, and that was to find the mother. So, to get her, to sort of,
yeah,
yeah,
and like I kind of see what you mean. Like yeah, to like maybe by them going back and like showing, see, people still love Barbie, and it's kind of like a way to kind of maybe even help restore order in that kind of way too. So
yeah,
that there's that, and also I was just gonna shout out really quick. We have actually Wolfman in the chat. He said, "You guys suck because you two are men," but then he's just kidding. He's like, "Oh, but and then Brian says, hoping I'm Just Ken gets nominated for best original song. I'll bet it gets nominated. Yeah, that was a really good song.
yeah.
And
As I said, as I said, especially that last one. There's a few potential songs that could get nominated from this. I wouldn't be upset if either one of them get nominated.
right,
Because as I said, the Billie Eilish song I think is a really heartfelt song. The Lizzo song which opens up the movie I think is fun, and I'm Just Ken is just a banger. I
yep.
think it's one of those ones if I'm to bet money on anything, it's probably going to be I'm Just Ken, because that's the one that's probably going to be on TikTok so many times, just like Peaches and
yeah, right. And actually, too, I feel like so I should have said up at the beginning we were going to get into some spoilers. I'm actually adding it to the title that we are going to have spoilers, just so no one gets like ticked off or anything, because there will be some, or we already have done a few minor spoilers, but it's hard to really spoil like too much in here, because it's really just Barbie going on a journey and of like self-discovery and like trying to figure out her place in the world, and then Ken kind of trying to figure out where he fits in and all that. But my other couple things that I was gonna bring up, I did have one other positive that I forgot. They had a Donald Trump joke sort of where they're building a wall, but they're building it vertical instead of horizontal. So they show them building the wall straight up in the air, so it doesn't even block anything or like do anything, which I can't. That was funny. Then you also have Michael Cera being Alan, who's like Ken's best friend, and so he's like fighting all the construction workers. Which I guess what I found out is that they actually have a commercial, which I'd like to see sometime, of like the dialogue he actually says to the construction workers is like straight from the commercial. Like it's exactly like word for word from an original commercial. So just kind of interesting. So
yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like Michael says Alan was just a lot of fun. Like, there's only one Alan, and I also do like the fact that they kind of did touch on some of these like Barbies, which were either controversial at the time, or because like the whole video camera Barbie, which was Sugar Daddy Ken, which was played by Rob Brydon.
the Sugar Daddy Ken, where he's like yeah, my cat's name is Sugar, and I'm her daddy or something like that. Yeah.
and pregnant Midge was like just very quickly was like, and that's pregnant Midge, but we don't talk about her.
yeah, right. But like even like how they showcase some of the other things. They have the dog that like poops just walking around like doing that. Then they showcase some of the like outfits that when like Ken's throwing them out of the house, they freeze in midair and you see like whatever outfit that it's supposed to be. Because I mean, like I think that's fun that they did that, because they're probably important to kids. Maybe like adults didn't like know as much about that. But that is one thing like that I do think that like, so if you watch the first trailer for Barbie and you go, I want to see this, like I kind of want to see how you could be confused that it's a movie for like the whole family to bring your kids to and everything. But like when you see the second one, you see the whole like beat you off and like that kind of stuff. Like you might get like the sense of like, whoa, this movie isn't like totally for kids. It's kind of more of like an adult theme kind of movie. So like I think that it's not really for kids, I would say. I mean, some parents may feel fine bringing their kids, and that's fine. But like I feel like it's definitely a movie a little more geared toward adults for sure.
It's one of those ones like because just trying to like it is rated PG, which is parental guidance, but it's one of those ones like it's just like animated movies where they slip in like adult themed humor into that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's one of, and it's one of those ones like realistically, a lot of the people going to the Barbie movie is maybe people that grew up with Barbie in general.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah.
So, because I mean, Barbie's been around for 50 years.
Right. Yep. So
I think it's closer to 60 now. So,
right. It's been around a long time, and one of the other things to it is like when they go into the boardroom that with Will Ferrell's character, they're all men in there. But actually though, like the real like boardroom. So the CEO of Mattel is a man, but the actual board is like 6 men and 6 women, and so there are women there, but they don't really portray that, which would have been kind of nice to have. But that's kind of like the whole male versus female thing they're going for, kind of.
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those ones like I think if we get a sequel to this and it's made enough money that we realistically could, maybe it'll show the change that Barbie is making in the real world, and that we may see that Mattel boardroom again, and it is that actual dynamic that it is now. So I mean, I think it's just one of those ones like because I think it's just one of those ones because I think the reason that we did see the real world as more male centric than what it maybe actually is, it's probably because we are seeing the real world from Barbie's point of view. So,
right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and then like the other only scene that I was gonna point out is like that they almost had like they're gonna live a happily ever after, and like they're gonna like where like Barbie's like maybe every night doesn't have to be girls' night or whatever, and then like you think they're gonna kind of get along more, but then all of a sudden Rhea Perlman comes out and they go into like a void and they're like walking in and like talking, and then all of a sudden she's like, I decided to go to the real world. I'm not gonna live here anymore. Well, why did you restore everything to back to like a certain way? I guess you like did it for all the other Barbies, so it could be for them too. But at the same time, now you're just leaving after all that. All right, well, I guess you have your own journey to go on after talking to the quote oracle is what I like to call her.
Well, so I mean, it's more the creator because like Rhea Perlman was playing the actual Ruth Handler that created Barbie. But I think it's one of those ones. I think, basically with the ending of that movie, I think it was more sort of Barbie realizing that she doesn't really feel at place in the Barbie world anymore with all these sort of like human emotions that she's kind of gradually taken on from America Ferrera, which started off her whole thing about her journey in the first place. Like, you know what? I'm going to go into the real world and be a human and sort of live my life out as Barbara Handler and sort of see what change I can make, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think that like we're probably definitely going to get a sequel because this movie's making good money. But like either like a sequel or like a spin-off, maybe you get like a Ken movie that's more focused on Ken. I don't know, but this movie was
and actually talking about that. I know we didn't talk about this much, but when Ken started changing Barbie World and all that, there was a meta joke about like, Ryan Gosling signed off for this Ken movie. It's like, and just all this thing of like, just seeing the real world impacts of like Ken taking over this world, just everything changing in the real world at the same time. But yeah,
and I like it too. Like we talked about this on another show you're on with us, but But I miss the days when they did opening credits, because like at the end they kind of have the credits at the end now, so they're like showcasing all the different Barbies. They show Skipper, like Barbie's like daughter, like friend, or whatever it's supposed to be, and then like all the different like Barbies that are like all showcased. So maybe if we get a sequel, it'll be more like, well, like give those characters more to do, I guess. So like
Yeah.
like who knows, but like I kind of feel like we have to be getting a sequel at some point if this movie makes money. So yeah.
I mean, it's one of those ones like if it gets sequel, good. I'll be interested to see sort of what other adventures they're going to send Barbie on. If it doesn't, it works just as good as a standalone movie as who. I think it doesn't really. I mean, realistically, it doesn't need a sequel. But if we get one, that's great.
Yeah. And despite what everyone thinks, I think the movie, like, overall, people really seem to like it. The reviews are actually high. So I mean, I think people are like slowly seeing a like trend with all the feminism, and then paying more attention to it, because maybe if Austin wouldn't have sent me a text message, I don't know if I would have thought as much about it, but I really did. But I mean, still, like, there's definitely things to like and understand why people really like this movie. I've talked to a lot of people that actually really love this movie. I've talked to people that hated it, and I've talked to people everywhere in between. And like that's kind of like what I said at the beginning, that all film is subjective. Not everyone's gonna love it, but I think overall, like, you're seeing, if you look at the reviews, you're seeing positive reviews. So most people like it, I think. So yeah. But I mean, overall, I don't give it a really high score. I like to usually like kind of end the reviews with giving it a score out of 10, and like I only give it a 4 out of 10 because the feminism stuff just got to me so much. But I can see why people really love it. I mean, if you had to give it a score out of 10, Malcolm, what do you think you'd be at?
Yeah, so on Letterboxd, I gave it a 5 out of 5, so it'll be 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. So you really loved it. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. Yeah. So, well, cool. I'm just looking to see. Well, I don't have the outro that I wanted loaded here, but I got a little something different on that I'm going to do. But yeah, I think that'll do it for review. Barbie, give us your thoughts. Like, have you seen it? If you're in the chat, if you're in the comment section, did you like it? What do you think? Do you think that it like had too much of the feminism, or do you think not? Or like, what are your like pros and cons? Like, did you love it? Like, to let us know. We're curious to hear your thoughts. So, but I think that will do it for us for this review. We'll be back in just a few minutes, actually doing a review of Oppenheimer. So that's coming up next. So yeah, stick around for that if you can, and we will catch you guys next time. So for Malcolm, I've been Jordan, the movie hero Anderson, and we'll see you next time.